All right, welcome back. Hopefully you're coming to this video after watching the previous one on creating data objects. If not, please make sure you go back and take a look through that video because that walks through some of the foundational stuff that I'm going to be talking about here with working with arrays. But if it's been some time since you've watched that video or you're trying to work ahead, basically what I've done here is I've created a simple product class for creating product data objects with three fields, name, a price, and a UPC. And I've also created a simple little app here to collect data on new products. And it's basically right now just collecting a single product, accepting the name, price, and UPC values, assigning those values to these fields in a product object, and then printing out the data from that product object to the console using our custom toString method. Before I move on, so that I don't lose track of where I left off in the last video, I'm actually going to make a copy of this project and work from that. So I'll rename this one to, let's call it Object Array Demo. Okay. And both of these projects will be available on Desire to Learn. Basically by the time you finish watching this video. All right, so we've got our product object pretty much set the way we want it. So I'm not going to mess with that too much. Instead, I want to talk about how can we extend this main app class so that we can deal in gathering multiple products into an array. And I guess the first step for me, at least from my perspective, would be to generate some kind of loop here so that we can generate a lot of product data, a lot of product objects, basically as many products as the user would like to enter would be ideal. So let me get rid of this extra commented out code. And probably a good first step, since we're going to be introducing some more complex logic into our main method, would be to take all of this code that's required in order to create a new object and drop that into a different method so that it's kind of out of our way. I'm going to create a separate method, static method. We're going to be working inside the main app class, so we can leave this all static. Public or private static, we'll have it actually return the product object, and just call it read new product, something along those lines. So I'll take all of this code that's required for reading in a new product, and I'll yank that out and stick it in this method instead. It up. We can see that I've introduced one problem here because the read new products method needs access to a scanner. So I could either take the scanner declaration and stick it in this method, or I could pass it as a parameter. For right now, I'm just going to opt to pass it as a parameter. It's not necessarily better or worse either way in this case. It's a pretty simple method call. And just for right now, just to demonstrate that it's actually working, products, okay. We should be able to run this and get essentially the same results. Oh, okay, my method here actually does need to return a product value. I forgot to include the return statement. Yeah, this method will allow the user to enter in all the data for the product. It then needs to actually return the completed product object. All right, so that should be fine. Should be able to run this, get the same results. Banana. And always use the same values. I'll try to mix it up next time. All right, so basically works exactly the same way as it did before. Now we're going to introduce an array so that we can basically enter in any number of products. And when I say any number of products, that really is the goal. So With the previous projects, the Module 1 project and the word sorter, we asked upfront with our user how many words would they like to enter. In a more user-friendly general purpose application, the user may not have put the forethought into determining how many things they actually want to enter, or they may want the system set up such that that number can increase or decrease over time. And Java arrays inherently don't have the mechanisms in place to automatically adjust their size. It's one of the reasons why when you create an array in Java, I'm going to go ahead and set up a product array. I'll call it inventory. When you create a product array or any array in Java, objects, primitives, whatever, you need to specify that size, and it's not flexible. Once the size has been created, that array is that fixed size for the entire lifetime of the array. Basically, the only way you're going to adjust the space available to the inventory is to take the array that's generated, copy its contents into a brand new array, and then reassign that brand new array to the inventory variable. So I'll give you some idea of what that looks like. Surprisingly enough, when we initialize this array with the process that we're going to use, I'm going to give it an initial size of 0, which actually is a legal size for an array. So we're going to basically allow the user, should they so choose, to not enter any products into the inventory. But we're going to grow our array basically as the user enters their products. So we're going to grow this array on demand through a looping mechanism. All right, so we won't need that so much. I'm going to get rid of this stuff for now. It'll probably make its way back in. But we are going to have a while loop at the least. And so we're going to need to ask our user something, give the user some mechanism to exit. We'll just do actually stay away from that. I'll actually build a menu similar to what we're going to see in the project here. Let's see. Do while loop. And I don't quite know what that condition is going to look like yet, so we'll get back to that. We'll have some kind of menu. Main menu. And we'll just have one option for now, add products. Actually, let's make that number 2. For option number 1, we'll have a product list. So this should start resembling the Module 2 milestone just a little bit. So hopefully you guys can borrow some ideas from what I'm doing here, and you're welcome to do so. And we'll go ahead and make option 9 exit. So we'll jump a bit there, but that's okay. And so now we can say we're going to continue this loop for as long as choice does not equal 9. Comparing strings here. So we'll loop as long as choice does not equal 9. Choice may not have been initialized, so go ahead and give that initial value. It's fine. All right. We've got a little menu here. And for now, I'm just going to use a quick if else. So if choice equals 1, this one's pretty simple. We're just going to have a quick for loop, actually a for each loop for each product P in inventory. P. Okay, so obviously right now, as far as our program operates, there are 0 products in inventory. But imagine that there's 4 or 5 products in inventory. This for each loop here will move incrementally through each product, and as it reaches each product, it'll label it as P, and then it will print out whatever that product is using our custom toString method. Okay, so that's listing all products. That's not too bad. If they enter 2, that's when we're going to need to actually add a new product, and I'll come back to that in a second. If they enter 3, we don't have a 3 yet, sorry. If they enter 9, this is just us exiting. We know that our while loop is going to terminate at 9 anyway, so we can just do nothing here. And when this else if resolves, it'll get to the bottom of the loop and exit because the value is 9. If they enter in any other value, that's probably not a valid value. And since they didn't enter 9, if they got to this point, then the loop will kick them back up to the top. All right, so we've got a pretty basic if-else sequence here. I could have represented this as a switch. If you looked at my project 1 solution, I did this as a switch instead. Let's see, I seem to be having some glitches here with my display. See if I can get this sorted out. Okay, interesting. Having some display difficulties here. All right, so let's see. Okay. Sorry about that. I'm kind of recording these on the fly, so I have limited editing capabilities. So we're just going to move on ahead here. For adding a new product, we can utilize the code that we already have in the read new products method to actually generate and fill the object. Pass in our scanner there. So that'll give us a product object that we can utilize. But we're going to need to insert this product into the array. Otherwise, this variable will go away. It will get reset each time we go back through this loop. Whereas because the array is declared up above, the array is kind of our persistent data storage for now. So we need to figure out how to get this variable into the array. But by default, the array has a size of 0. So we're going to need to resize that. And as I stated before, that's kind of a misnomer. You can't actually resize an array in Java. But what we can do is make a copy of the array using a static method called arrays.copyof. And the first method, or the first parameter for arrays.copyof is the actual array that you want to copy. The second parameter for arrays.copyof is going to be the length of the new array that you want to have created. So essentially, every time we want to add a product, we want to create a new, something's going on here, a new array with a size 1 larger than the array that we passed in. So inventory, when it gets passed in, is going to have a size of 0. And what's going to happen here is Java is going to create a new array with a size of 0 plus 1. So we'll end up with an array of size 1. We'll assign that new array back to the inventory variable. So the previous insufficiently sized array will get discarded. Once we do that, once we've resized our array to accommodate, we can assign our new product object to the last space in the array. Now, if you remember, think carefully here, the way that arrays are ordered in Java, arrays start with the number 0. So an array with 4 elements would be numbered 0, 1, 2, 3, but still have a length of 4. So if our array in this case has a length of 1, we want to put our first product in the position 0. So if inventory.length is 1, 1 minus 1 gives us position 0. That's where we want to insert our product. So what this will allow us to do, hopefully, I'm going to cross my fingers a little bit, is enter in any number of products. I'm just going to make sure that the list is working. It does. The list is empty, so that's kind of what we would expect to see. And then I'll jump into add product here. I'll put in banana. I will have to do something different here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay, so now we can list and see banana in the list, and then we can add again and enter in kiwi. And the kiwi is going to be $2, and its UPC will be 1, 2, 3. There. Okay, and we hit the list again, and now we can see both products in the list. So huge step forward there, the ability to resize our arrays dynamically as we need to add more products, and be able to list all the products in that array as well. Just one more thing that I want to demonstrate, and I probably could have demonstrated it for this. I'm going to exit here, get back to the code for a second. After we actually add the product to the array, I want to jump back over to our product class and take another look at the compare to method that we implemented. And if you watched the tail ends of the last video, I talked about compare to and how compare to is essentially used to sort objects in Java, provide a kind of a reference for how would you order products. And in this case, we're ordering products by name. And it's actually going to do a string comparison of the names and sort the products alphabetically. If we wanted to, instead of using name for comparison, we could use price, we could use UPC, we could use some combination of those things. But the default comparison for our product objects, in this case, this implementation compared to is going to be the name. So it might be a good idea each time we create a new product that we call another static method of arrays, arrays.sort, and we go ahead and sort our product array to make sure that the new product that we just added gets inserted into the array in the correct spot. And so I'll show you the difference that that makes, adding that sort there. All right, so now we're back to having no products because we're not saving any of this data yet. So we'll enter in, this time I'm going to enter in kiwi first. We got kiwi in our list. Kiwi is first. But now I will add banana second. And hit the list. And banana has moved up to the top spot, even though it was originally inserted into the second spot in the array. And this is because after banana was inserted here, after banana was added to the array, we called arrays.sort. Arrays.sort referenced the products compare to method and determines that because the name of the product banana comes alphabetically before the name of the product kiwi, the product banana should come before the product kiwi. So that uses compare to for sorting purposes. This is not, the sorting piece is not a crucial part of the Module 2 milestone. However, from the Module 2 project and onward, because we will be using the context class for many of the future projects for this class, so onward, having that compare to method in place will be required as a mechanism for keeping your your contact data in order. Now, there are some additional challenges here to working with arrays. Editing a contact in place, or a product in place in this case, or also deleting a product in this case, or deleting a contact in the case of Module 2 milestone, have their own challenges. And rather than go through each of those challenges in detail in this video, I'm going to invite everyone to have a conversation in the Module 2 questions and answers discussion board about the mechanisms that they use for editing and deleting products, because, well, there's a variety of solutions out there for working with arrays. A lot of the research that you're going to see online is going to suggest that if you want to do editing, deletions, things like that, to use collections. And we will be discussing collections in Module 3. I'm sure many of you are already familiar with collections. That's going to be a valuable skill. Working with arrays is also a valuable skill. So I'm really curious to see what kind of discussion we can generate around that, and I'll chime in as well. I'm interested also to see how that comes out in your guys' reviews. If you have trouble working with the Module 2 milestone and getting these array manipulation pieces in place, please remember that the Module 2 milestone is not evaluated for perfect functional accuracy. The milestone is simply just a flag along the way to measure your progress, and to give you an opportunity to evaluate and compare with your classmates. So don't stress over it too much and make a best effort. All right, so that's a brief discussion about arrays and arrays of products and the things that you can do with them in Java.